Hey, it's Guido coming at you with a tactics talk. Sometimes there are maps and team setups which lend themselves to pushing right into the face of the enemy. We are here on Manheim line. You can see the setup here if you look over on the enemy team. Quite a few mediums. So you might be thinking to yourself, well, the heavies will probably go down south and their big medium swarm will be up to the north. And if we get stagnated down in the south, then their medium swarm will come around behind us and flank us. And that's not a bad thought, but then you've got to break it down a little bit more and take a look at what type of mediums they have. They've got T-34-3s, T-26E4 Super Pershings, and even the Mod 1, all relatively slow, although the 34-3 and Mod 1 can get around. But the Mod 1's got the great big long reload. A lot of people will play that thing like a pocket heavy. A lot of people will play their Super like a heavy. So as I looked at this setup to include our team with 3 heavies and 3 pretty decent players in them, as well as some good players in the rest of the tanks, I figured we had a probably pretty great chance to push hard down into the south. So I will head off to that way, and you'll notice that right away we get the WZ, the IS-6, myself, a T-34-3 coming, and there's an IS moving his way down here. And then we've got some of the cats and dogs headed up to the north, which is good because that's a screening force that we're going to need up there. There is still a danger of them pushing around to the north. So Manheim line. Down here in the south is probably one of the critical battles. This map can legitimately be won from both sides. So a good push in the north and coming around can give you a lot of trouble if you get stagnated here. And a good push into the south up towards their cap and then coming back if needed can also win this map. Realize though that you do need a screening force, so I'm okay with a decent amount of tanks going this way to keep them busy, especially if we're going to win by pushing down in the south. The key to the south is taking this lower road, getting up around this corner and getting them in a crossfire. Their key is the exact same thing, taking the lower road, pushing along here and coming up and getting us in a crossfire. It is easier to defend from the side I'm on because of all that room back there and all that open area. I'm going to try to shift right there, and unfortunately he ends up pinning me. Now you can see a lot of our tanks are come down to the bottom, and that's what you've got to do. You've got to overwhelm them on the bottom area, and we've got all 3 of our Tier 8 heavies and our T-34-3. So we're going to start working the corner, and we do this corner pretty well. Actually, it's the next corner. What we do well here is just push right into them. So it's a bit of a bum rush situation. That guy snaps a shot off at me. I get artied, tracked, and I'm not going to waste my repair kit quite yet because I fully expect to, at some point in here, get tracked on this corner. And I will need that repair kit at that point to avoid getting wrecked. Unfortunately, I bumped the 34-3, not really what I'm trying to do, so I try to get out of his way. There we go. Come back. Now I'm going to steal his spot, and that's something I usually rail against a little bit, but I saw him backing up, and he looks like he's not interested in taking a hit right this moment. Me and the WZ will now use this corner in echelon and work together, angling our armor. He's going to come in there and unfortunately misses that T-44, which is going to cost both of us a hit. So I'm just going to go at him. So this is the bum rush time. I take a hit doing it. I'll shift my tank to the left a little bit to spoil that shot, and that's pretty lucky. We end up with an ammo rack, but if a T-34-3 is going to show his side sprocket like that, he's probably going to get ammo racked. Use this tank as a little bit of armor. Super comes down. I'm just going to shoot this guy in third person. No need to zoom in. It gets kind of confusing sometimes if you zoom in that close. So learn how to use third person to shoot, and now we're just bum rushing some more up and over, and you can see that we've got a large advantage, which is exactly how you win this southern area, this southeast area in Manheim. I get some really lucky shots in here, and it's something that the low can do. If you own a low or a very accurate tank like that, they shoot on the move very well. So I needed to get up and over. One thing I could not really afford right there is a bunch of forward and back and ramming into all the guys trying to come up behind me. So we want all these guns up top, so I've got to take a little bit of a chance, use my armor, be a heavy, come at these guys. And there's that low accuracy once again. It started to zoom, but not too much. Actually didn't notice that 34-3. Almost bumped into him. That guy dies. Now we're just going to push the 34. Now that 34 really hurt his team. Had he been down low with the rest of them, we might have had more trouble. I actually pinned that guy in the turret. Again, another lucky shot, but you got to take those shots, and sometimes they go through. Two choices, right or left of the tank traps right there. I go to the right and eat a shot from the arty. I'd probably eaten a shot going left. That was well spotted. The guy up on the sniper post is gone, so now we're just dealing with these guys. RNG forsakes me on that one, but I got a lot of them already, so I'm well ahead in the RNG range. And now we're just pushing up and cleaning these guys up. You can see that just aggressive push in the south, coming up and over. Keep on swimming, basically. There goes the 34-3. Now this guy is going after the arty. This is kind of one of those situations where you might look at that and go, you know what, that guy's just going to kill that arty, so I'm not even going to bother going over there. But that is not something I do. If there are hit points somewhere, I always go towards it because you never know what's going to happen. He just missed. So he rams him, and I'm just hoping the arty or another guy doesn't get a shot. And I can't get my gun down, get down. And there you go. I end up with a few more hit points at the very end. And I do the same thing here. I'm going towards the SPIC. I have a little hope that I'm going to get any hit points off him, but I'm still going to turn towards him and see if I can't just snap off another shot. And every little bit helps. That gets you more credits, more experience, and if you're worried about your stats, better stats. So we push down to the south. I read the team makeups pretty much happened as I expected it to. We got enough forces down to the south, and I had two pretty good players that understood how this area is won. Came down with me, and we just bum rushed them along the bottom, cleaned them up, came up the top, kept pushing hard as possible into their face, and cleaned them up pretty quickly. You can also see that we obviously won in the north, so this was an all-around team effort from both sides. But that's a good illustration of how to win Mannheim Line in a heavy with a heavy overmatch. Hope this helps. Catch you later.